think I'll just get started. Christine, am I ready to go?
Yeah, you can go ahead, Ian.
Okay. So, well, good afternoon, everybody. And I see I think we have a good number, maybe 50 folks on with us today. And I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. Very difficult time for everybody, but thank you for joining us. And we're working through all of the challenges that all of you as business owners and with your organizations and businesses are as well. I want to take a few minutes today to just kind of give you a bit of an outline of what we're working on, and as much as anything, brief you on what we're doing to try and help you, your business, the community, as we struggle through this COVID-19 crisis, and how we can be prepared to help you and your business and the community for both the health crisis now and then the economic recovery and business recovery that will need to come after. Just a couple of housekeeping notes I'd like to share. I think everyone's on mute right now, just to reduce the background noise. I think if you feel free to, I think there's a messaging component here where you can ask questions through the webinar by typing them into the question box in your control panel, and we'll try and get to those through the course of this few minutes we have together. I'll answer those kind of once I go through some opening remarks. Everyone that's registered and with us today will be sent a recording of the webinar after the event. And we're going to be doing this on a regular basis with any content information that we think might be useful to our members, whether they're large, medium, or small businesses, community organizations. So this will be a regular occurrence as we get through this together. I want to thank Christine and Allison and our team. This is our first effort at it. They're facing the dual challenge of they got someone who has a face for radio and not very much talent. So bear with us as we get through it. But Christine and Allison and my team are doing a great job of helping us work through these things and utilize these technologies so we can stay connected and together. These are unprecedented times in the globe, and I know this is an extremely difficult time for communities, for individuals, and for businesses. First, I hope that you and your families are staying safe and healthy. We are here to support you as a chamber and your business and your needs as best we can. Our chamber's been around for 138 years, and business has been around for a long, long time, and we will get through this together. One of the things that we want to try and do is to be there as a resource for information, whether it's on public health, on business programs, and there's a lot of them being announced in almost hourly. So just as a comment, my team and I are doing trying to be a trusted source of information for our members and the broader business community and community as a whole. So our website if you're not already part of our email list, feel free to connect with us. We would love to add you to that list. We're sending out updates almost daily now, or daily, around everything from public health issues and new programs, tips to support yourself and your business through these times. We'll be sharing these types of this type of information through on our website, but through social media. And we're planning and in the process of planning webinars, whether it's every day or every couple of days. We'll be having different valued and trusted partners to help share their expertise as we get through this together. I'm going to run through some of the information that the latest and greatest that I have, and then we'll open it up for questions and comments. My team and I are reaching out to every one of our members, and we'll be doing that on a regular basis with a phone call, through email, and really what we want to know is how we can support you what are the challenges you're facing, what you think some of the solutions might be. In all my years of being around public service and elected office in business, I've never seen a situation where government and elected officials and people that are in sort of public service are as open-minded to hearing from business and business organizations around how we get through this. And so you and getting your feedback will be tremendously useful. I think it will be listened to as much as it can. And I also think it's pretty it's refreshing to me. All levels of government are working as closely as they can. I think we're doing the right things as communities and in public health and governments in as it relates to business. So I'm confident we will get through this. We need to support one another, and that's one of our what we're trying to do as the chamber. Just in terms of some updates locally, I think you'll be aware. I think the latest we have is there's 58 confirmed or presumptive positive cases of COVID-19 in Waterloo region. The region of Waterloo and the 7 municipalities, I believe it was yesterday, declared a state of emergency, which is really the strongest possible message for residents and the community to stay home whenever possible. And if you can stay at home, that's the best way that we can slow the spread of COVID-19 and get to the other side of the public health emergency. Cities of Waterloo and Kitchener and Cambridge have all announced economic and tax relief programs and supports for business and individuals. The Premier has, in the province of Ontario, has again enacted the emergency declaration or emergency declaration to the public last week. Just a couple of days ago, the Ontario ordered the closure of all non-essential workplaces. That list is available on our website, and there's a toll-free line available for businesses that aren't sure where you fit into that long list. Other things that in the short term and some of the measures that are being put in place to help people get through the immediate crisis are Ontario's providing electricity cost relief to families, small businesses, and farms. Ontario yesterday announced some financial measures in the Ontario Action Plan as well. The federal government announced some additional programs yesterday. The emergency response benefit was announced, which will provide Canadians with financial assistance if your jobs have been impacted by COVID-19 and would otherwise not be eligible for EI. There's income tax deferral for businesses up to August 31st. Business credit availability that the federal government has put in, I think it's $10 billion between Business Development Bank and Export Development Canada to provide supports targeted specifically to small and medium-sized business. The Farm Credit Canada is increasing funds available to assist farmers, and of course, farming and agriculture is probably in combination with food processing, #1 employer here in the region of Waterloo, and so that's pretty important for our area. There's also some temporary wage subsidies put in place. I think those are something that we're certainly encouraging as a first step, but they need to go a lot further with that, and they're trying to encourage work sharing programs as well. So the federal government and provincial government have both been very vocal about also asking industry to help supply products and innovative solutions to support the fight against COVID-19. We are working closely with our friends at the Cambridge Chamber of Commerce, the Economic Development Corporation, and Communitech to connect businesses that maybe are not essential services and be in slowdowns, but that can retool their operations to supply whether it's products or retool to provide innovations to help us through all of those things, like getting more cleaning supplies and personal protective equipment, shields and masks, all of those sorts of things that the healthcare system is in dire need of. And so they've both created websites or links where businesses can connect Again, both of those links are on our website and available. If you think you have some capacity and want to make a contribution or make that available to the government to see whether there could be a way that you could support, our website has that. Art on my staff at the chamber is another great resource who works with me on advocacy and government relations. He's well versed on these programs and is getting briefed up on all of the programs that different levels of government have and ability for industry to support the community over the course of the coming days. Just a few things as we kind of are at the front end of this crisis is the chambers. We're trying to help business in a number of different ways. As I've mentioned, we're sending regular updates around COVID-19 on a daily basis with the key takeaways, announcements, links, updates, and those are what we're trying to be as a trusted source of information for you, your colleagues, your friends, your family, and other businesses, whether they're a member or not of our chamber. Everyone needs to have that information. So we're looking for and we utilize trusted sources ourselves. So we're really getting the information which we're aggregating from the Waterloo Region Public Health folks, the municipal and provincial and federal governments directly, as well as the Ontario Chamber of Commerce and the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. We're working together with all of the partners that we have to make sure we consolidate that information so that you have accurate information, easy access to it as well. The resources page on the website, we're compiling again, as I said, links where business can connect. We're in the process of putting, there's many businesses that as we would expect in Waterloo Region are offering help and support and offers of reduced or free services to our members for things that they'll need to get through this period of time, and that will be coming up not in the next day or so on our website. So if you feel free to take a look at those. On the advocacy front, or how we're communicating the needs of our community and our businesses and our members to different levels of government, we are, and I am in constant contact with the mayors and the chair, our municipal or our provincial and federal members, but also in cabinet and senior government officials around the things that we think are important. Yesterday, I penned a letter along with my colleagues, the president of the Waterloo Economic Development Corporation, Communitech, and the Cambridge Chamber. I'm going to grab my sheet here, as well as the Cambridge Chamber, to both the Prime Minister and the Premier of Ontario, calling for some immediate things that we think are going to be most essential for our members and in particular small and medium-sized business. And I'll just run through those because I think it speaks to, this is first and foremost, this is a healthcare crisis that we're in. We need to get on top of that. We support, and I think it's the right thing to do for those that can work at home remotely with their teams, that they should do that. For non-essential businesses that are being asked to not work, we support that too, but along with that comes the responsibility of government at all levels, in particular the federal government, to provide the income or the economic support so that business, when they're not having any revenue come in, can do what they want to do, which is to keep their employees employed, but also be able to not go bankrupt doing it. And so when we ask people to close because it's the right thing for public health, that's we support that, but it also means that we need to have a variety of things in place to support business, individuals, and the community. So the 6 things that we've called for, and this comes from hearing from a great many of you ourselves, is 6 immediate items that we think are important. One is to subsidize wages directly through business to individuals to protect jobs, and there's lots of examples. The United Kingdom is the one that we think is the best model, but some version of that, which allows businesses to keep their employees on the payroll with the government providing the wages in the short term. We have already seen last week a spike of over 1 million people being laid off and making application to the unemployment insurance program. We can't let that go much further. Otherwise, we're going to have millions of people on unemployed and not available to work in the economy when we get to the other side of the health crisis. So we're calling on that wage subsidies program. We also want there to be strong and clear messaging for banks for the government to backstop banks so that they can continue lending to particularly small and medium-sized business and individuals at the lowest interest rates possible with flexible payment options. We are calling for, because cash flow we know is for most small medium-sized business, of which the chamber is one, cash flow is a big issue. So we're calling for it's coming up to GHT HST remittance period. We're calling on the government to immediately suspend those payments and ask business or allow business to use that for operating capital as we go through the immediate crisis right now. We're also saying there has to be a specific program around allowing business and individuals to have mortgage and rent holidays and pushing that out because cash flow, the two biggest things for most of our businesses would be wages and people and our rent or our mortgage. So we're calling for that. Also, one of the things that's important, and we know this in Waterloo Region, our charities, our not-for-profits, our service groups and faith institutions provide a lot of programs and services that are essential to our community, protect the most vulnerable amongst us, and they're going to be really struggling with declining donations. And so we're calling for the government to be mindful of that and to have a couple of things. One is a capital gains exemption on shared or stock donations to charitable organizations, which would incent people that may want to make that kind of contribution. The other is the model after we've had in natural disasters like the tsunami of 2004, where the government would put a pot of money and match dollar for dollar up to a certain amount for charities, so that the dollars that they are getting from those that care about those things can be stretched even further, and they can continue to deliver the programs and services that and the work that goes on in this community as much as possible. The other is to make sure that the provincial government is working with, and I think they've made some changes in this regard, but want to make sure that it continues, so that municipalities who by law are not allowed to incur deficits, they're not by provincial mandate allowed to do that, make changes at least temporarily, so that municipalities can work with business ratepayers as well as individuals around deferring or stretching out tax payments while people are stretched for cash and we get through the immediate crisis of this. So we need to make those are the types of things that we've been very clear and active and talking with decision makers most immediately, and those are the types of things that we'll continue to do because we've heard from business and our members like yourselves that those are the types of things that are most critically needed right now. In between our four organizations, the two chambers, Communitech and Waterloo Economic Development Corporation, we would represent about 3,500 or 4,000 businesses in the region of Waterloo, over 90,000 workers. So when we speak with one voice, which I think is very powerful, I believe there'll be an openness from government to hear what we have to say. One of the things, and every little bit helps when you're in these crisis situations, for our members, there are member reward programs that are already in place that you should be looking at and taking advantage of. It's one of the values of membership for us, and there are a number of them, like our Cowan program, whether it's on insurance or your business insurance, home insurance, auto insurance, where in just getting a quote from Cowan, that you're going to get one of the lowest rate as a small business owner you're going to find. There are other programs in our member reward portfolios, such as Profit Point, where we're all using a lot of of internet and technology as we work remotely, Profit Point can help minimize your cost to any of the carriers that you're working with, whether it's Bell, Rogers, or anyone else. So I encourage you to, on our website, go to our member rewards profile or a tab, take advantage of those like Profit Point, Cowan, the UPS. If you're doing more deliveries, there's special rates that are going to save you money. One of the things, and this is a challenge. Shopping local and supporting local is important now, and it'll be important as we make our way through this. Many of our businesses and members, especially, and some are closed entirely. Restaurants and bars and entertainment and a variety are going to be really impacted. But for many businesses, looking in the next 2, 3, 4 months, how they transition to online e-commerce, those sorts of things are going to be pretty important. There's lots of ways to support small business, calling up and getting gift cards and those sorts of things to help the businesses that need our help. Support them through this period of time. We have a program many of you may have heard of called Shop KW. So if you haven't done online or have a presence online, Shop KW is one of the many ways or many options that would be available to you to do e-commerce and to try and keep your business moving ahead even in these difficult times. So I encourage you to look at those types of options. So that kind of gives you just a quick overview. I will open it up for questions in just a minute or so, but I kind of want to let you know that the Chamber is here for you. I hope you'll access the resources that we are trying to make available to you. If there's anything that is confusing or there's information that you think is missing, please reach out to us. Through our website, connect with any of myself or my staff. We will make sure that we try and do our best to get you an answer. We also want to feed in any suggestions or pain points that we may not be aware of. So that information works both ways. We'll try and answer your questions, but if you have questions or suggestions, please do make sure that you're in touch with us on those. We partner, are a part of the Innovation Corridor, which is the Chambers of Commerce from here right through to Toronto. We are working and had a conference call today about trying to make sure that we're coordinating our resources and doing things like surveys that are consistent so we can have good information about what the challenges are small business that will have. You'll see we have a survey going out and we'll be refining those in the coming days. I encourage you, please do take the time when those come out. They won't be long, a few minutes, but take the time to do those. It's very helpful for me and for my colleagues and for my team to understand and have some data around what the issues are that people are facing. I'll make sure, not me. I'm lucky that I can make a computer work. But my team will make sure that the links and resources that we've mentioned today, will send those directly to you. Feel free to pass along the open invitation for any business, any business that you're working with, your friends, colleagues, that we're here to support business. We're here to support the community. So it's an open invitation. We look forward to having more of these types, and it won't always be me because I'm not very talented at this, but we're going to have experts from a variety of different fields, whether it's HR or finance or legal. There's all kinds of issues, insurance that are going to be impacted. No matter what your business is, there'll be impacts. So we're going to be using those trusted partners that we have and be setting up webinars on everything from cybersecurity as you start to work from home, because most of us didn't really expect to be in this circumstance. As I say, insurance, HR, government programs, and how to access them, so we make it as accessible as possible for small and medium-sized business. What we keep reinforcing to government too is, of our membership, and most of you probably fit into this category, most small business have 10 or 15, 20 employees or less. That would be about 75 or 80% of our membership. So programs have to be designed so that they're accessible for small and medium-sized business, and that you have an ability to access them without being frustrated. So we're here to help you through that process. I've got a fantastic team. I know most of you would know that, but they are working day and night to make sure that we're providing this information, that we're there for you. And you know, there's no question, because I ask dumb questions all the time. There's no dumb questions. There's no suggestions that we won't take and explore and talk with decision makers and community around the community, because this is a uncharted territory for everybody, from elected officials to government officials to business organizations. We've never seen anything like this, so it's all hands on deck. We got to work together. We will get through it. So I wanted to just kind of finish my comments by encourage you to start with the first step of this is to get through the healthcare crisis. So if you can stay home as best as possible, you know, distancing in terms of keeping separate and having that social distancing is really important. While you're doing that, and as difficult as it is, we will be there fighting for business and individuals to make sure that people can have the certainty that they can, you know, put food on the table and pay their bills, and that we're all ready to emerge once the healthcare piece of this is over, that we emerge stronger together. Maybe the last thing, I think I should have started with this, but I was a week or so ago, one of the things that really struck me as I was watching CNN for, you know, like hour 17 in a row, trying to, and CBC and others, was the executive director of the World Health Organization, and he said, in order to get on top, and he was talking about the public health side of this. He said, in order to get your arms around this, you need to overreact versus underreact. You need to go big and be really expansive about how you get on top of this, and that means big in terms of social distancing and encouraging people to stay home, but you also need to be fast. So there's no perfection. He said waiting for perfection will cost lives and it will stretch this out. I think that's fine. Go, you know, overreact versus underreact. Be big and bold, and to be fast. We agree with that on the healthcare front, and I believe that to be true. But it also means the government needs to do that to protect businesses and economy and individuals. So they need to have these programs, income support, wage subsidies, you know, rent and mortgage, the things we've talked about. Those need to be big, they need to be bold, and they need to be fast. And so that's what we're encouraging them to do. We'll continue to do that in terms of what we hope to see from government at all levels. But on the practical level, we're here to help you and your business with the specifics of how we get through day by day, and that's our commitment to our members. So with that, and I of course am very technically challenged, so I'm done my part. I don't know what needs to happen, but I would love to open it up for questions or comments from folks. Yes.
There's two questions, so if it's easier, I'll read them to you.
Sure.
Okay. So the first question is from Clara, and she says, yesterday I read the letter sent to the Prime Minister, and my concern is that if the government extends the support to businesses to support their payroll and staff, instead of helping workers directly, the risk of virus spread will increase dramatically. What are your thoughts on this matter?
So I guess that the challenge so there's dual challenge, and I think part of the income or the wage support or wage subsidy through businesses, the importance of we got to do both things at once. We have to have people staying at home and to contain the spread. On the other hand, we also need to have businesses that are keeping their most important asset, which is their people, on payroll. If people go off payroll or put more into the EI program, and businesses don't have their employees still on payroll and part of their team, when we get to the other side of the public health crisis, we still have to have business and entrepreneurs and business owners that have staff and have resources and can get the economy firing on all cylinders again. So the examples, and this has been used, this isn't just something we just came up with, is there, you're seeing these direct wage subsidies through business, which basically says you're still on staff, you're still benefits, and you may be at home not working, but your wages are being paid or backstopped by government through business. Because and I think this is a period, I don't think this is weeks, I think we will be well into the summer before we start thinking about going back to, what we would think of as more, pre-COVID-19. We need to have businesses that actually have employees and that can start doing business again. And so to me, it's not one or the other. I do think that the mechanism, if you start doing it with individuals and people have to apply individually, you're into millions and millions of people. I think business has the capacity, if we give them the opportunity, that will say, yes, I'll keep my folks on staff. They're paying the wages. It's all, CRA, of anything you can say about them is that they've got a mechanism to be able to do this fast. And that's the other part. This needs to be fast. People, the workers that need to pay bills, most people don't have more than 2 weeks, or give or take, before that they run into problems on their personal finances. And at the same time, most small businesses would say that they have no more than 3 to 5 weeks that they can sustain without revenues coming in before they have to make some pretty drastic choices. So I would just say that I think that there's fast and making sure that businesses can keep their human capital as part of their teams. So when we sort of take the economy out of the deep freeze, which is effectively what probably 40% of the economy right now is just not operating, they need to have their employees, and which is the lifeblood of any business, ready to reemerge and help the economy grow, because that'll be the long term. The long term is that we need the economy to grow and pick up pace, to create the tax revenues so that we can get on top of and emerge from the other side of the health crisis. So I hope that answers the question. I'm happy to continue if you have further questions or want to discuss that further. I'd be delighted to. You can go to the website, send me an email, and be delighted to have a conversation.
Okay, Ian, second question is from Greg, and his question is, what businesses are included in property maintenance? For example, property cleanup, fertilizing, grass cutting.
So this is where my staff and our, because I don't know the answer to that question. I know there's a 1-800 number that I think it was announced this morning. The list of, I have it over here somewhere. The list. Sorry, keep on here. List of essential services. It was a broad list. I don't know the answer to your question specifically, but I know Christine and Allison will ensure that we take that specific question. Art on my staff will be probably the best person if he knows the answer, but certainly can get you the resource to answer that question, because there's a lot of particulars in there that will come into play around essential versus non-essential. And I don't have that at my fingertips, but those are the types of things that we're quite prepared to take that question. Art probably can be helpful, and certainly point you towards either a phone number or a website that can specifically answer your question. And these are the types of things that we will continue to get as we evolve.
And Greg, if you're still listening, then the phone number to the Stop the Spread business information line is 1-888-444-3659. And if you've missed that, then just feel free to send us an email. We can send you that information. Another question we have is from Michelle. Have any daycares been approved to open for children of hospital workers? We have a large laundry facility and delivery service that can offer cleaning of protective wear for staff. We clean biohazard for EMS and Waterloo Region Police Services, looking for contacts as we are trying to keep staff working. This may be too specific for the webinar, and she can be contacted at another time.
So was that Michelle? What was the name? Sorry, Allison.
Michelle. Michelle.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Michelle, and for others listening, that's a great question. And all questions might be specific, but the general principle will apply in some of these cases. So making that offer, and Allison, and I think it's on our website already, but Allison and Christine, as part of when we send this out, can provide the links for, there's a provincial link and a federal link, but specifically there's also one at the region that our business organizations are putting together, of making offers like that, of saying, hey, here's what we can do just to support on the cleaning side and in terms of protective equipment, etc. So I'd encourage, and we'll get you that information, because those offers are coming in from many businesses who, I had one today as an example. He's a tool and die in Kitchener, and said, look, we're tools down because we're not really essential in some of our suppliers, but we have capacity. We can cut plastic and help with producing medical shields, etc. I put him in touch with Art, who got him on the provincial link, and he got a phone call back in a matter of hours, and is linked up in those cases. So the province and locally, we're trying to make those connections as quickly as possible. So thank you for that offer. We'll get you that information. As far as daycares are concerned, I guess I don't know the answer to that. I do know that is one of the issues, and I think there have been, I couldn't swear to this, but we can find out of daycares that have been approved to be open for precisely first responders, the healthcare sector, essential services, so that they can go to work. I don't know the details on that. Again, maybe Allison and Christine, we can get, Art might be able to kind of dig into that a little bit with the Waterloo region. Or Region of Waterloo, who will have responsibility for that. But I don't have that specific at the top of my head, but thank you for the question.
And that's all the, oh, one more question. Okay, Greg has said that he has tried the number that we gave him and they had no answer after 4 hours on hold. So we're wondering if we can check into that.
Yeah, so we'll take that, and Art will, because these will be some of the hiccups along the way, but let's take that offline, and Art can maybe work his magic and get an answer for this.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
Nope, that's it at this time.
Okay, so one of the things I'll leave you with, and I encourage you to think about this. I'm not looking for an answer now, but as you think about your business, your organization, your personal circumstance, we would love to hear from you about what types, and I won't subject anyone to me being on a webinar again, but I wanted to start this off today and get you this kind of overview information. We are in the process, as I said, of pulling together content experts across a variety of different topics. So please feel free to be in touch with us. And let us know, geez, I've got HR issues, or I'm not sure about certain aspects of your business and what you should be doing. We are quite prepared to get our partners, which are across everything from insurance, finance, legal, HR, supply chain, all of those, or anything of those issues that for your business, whether it's your small, medium, or larger size business, we're happy to help or convene and get the right people so that we can do these webinars as often as we can, and as long as it's useful to you, to your colleagues, to your employees, we will be doing these, and we have no shortage of people that have stepped up and said, let us know if you want us to work with you on a webinar, so we have the information, or you get the information that you need so that we can all get through this together. So I leave that with you. That's an open sort of ask of you, is when those topics come up, please let us know. We'll do our best to turn those around in as quickly as possible. And I do just reiterate, when you get our emails, I hope you'll take the information or scan through it for what's important to you. When we send a survey, it would be most helpful to me, making sure our messages are getting through to decision makers as things evolve. If you would take the few minutes to do a survey, it'd probably be every week or two, so won't be too frequent, but it will be very, very useful for us if you take the time to do that. So if no more questions, Allison?
No more.
Okay, so I think we'll leave it there. Thank you everyone for taking. I know you know you're all busy. We're all challenged with a lot of things right now. I hope you all will stay safe and stay well. Please take the public health, regional Waterloo public health messages to heart. Wash your hands. Stay home if you can. If you're not feeling well, stay home and be in touch with the healthcare system. And we're here to help you with your business needs. We will get through this together. We are a community that cares for one another, and we will be here to support you and your business and your community and your employees. So thank you for joining us today, and we'll look forward to the next time when we're together. Thanks so much, and have a great afternoon.